Hello folks and welcome back. So I thought today's video I'd just start off by going out on a little bit of a walk really, and just getting some photographs of various bits of countryside, just to have a look at the different types of scenic inspiration really you can get from your local area, really looking at the roads and the different growth that you get, and different colours and textures. So yeah, that's how I started off, just for a bit of inspiration. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Bye for now. Hello folks and welcome back. So today has been, this afternoon has mainly been a question of adding some embankment details on here. So I've basically been using the foam that I prepared earlier, and then just adding those to sort of represent, I suppose, bramble bushes, that kind of thing, that kind of thing that just sort of overtakes the embankments. I've left some gaps. I'm going to fill in little bits more of that, but obviously the embankment itself is going to be more of a green scatter type colour as well. I've just tried to sort of do a few different colour variations with this, and I'll perhaps add some scatter to the actual bushes themselves as well. And then the next stage was just carrying on and moving up to this area here, which I've not fully decided what's going to happen with this as yet, as those Oxford die-cast vehicles. I've just been doing some detailing on the viaducts as well, so where you get bushes and stuff overgrown, and again trying to incorporate some different colours there, just for, you know, if you've got somewhere it's new growth and then there's bits of old growth as well, and different kind of textures with bits kind of growing over the top. Bit where it's a bit overgrown there and near the feet. Again, that's kind of working its way up as you just get this general overgrowth, and then up the other side to the top as well, and there'll probably be quite a bit more of that. But I'm reasonably pleased with the general effect. I'm going to add some more kind of scatter materials as well. I've done as well a kind of a rough road just to experiment with different techniques really. I did buy some sandpaper to use, find the right kind of coarseness, and possibly this one is a little bit too coarse scale wise looking at it, but I thought kind of an oldish road, so that's a bit pitted and potholed, etc. And I don't know how well it comes across on the camera, but I've used two different colours there as well, so you can see there's little bits where it's patches, where it's different, slightly different colour, just to give it some different tones where there's perhaps been repairs done and things like that. So yeah, see how that works. I'm going to put some pavements there as well, probably, you know, fairly rough pavements. Obviously colour wise, this the brown is just the that old sort of coffee that's been dried out. That's going to be painted over and should give us a bit of texture as well. That's my general plan. But yeah, reasonably pleased with how that's coming together. There's obviously a lot more to do with it, but I thought I'd just bring you back for a little update just now. What I'll probably do is do the scatter materials for the embankment in some of the gaps. I'll probably build it up a little bit more, but some of the gaps I'm going to perhaps do the scatter materials a different colour to the ground, as sometimes you get with embankments where there's more drainage basically, so they tend to be the ground below them tends to be a bit more sort of lush. So yeah, quite pleased with that. So yeah, those are the things I've done. You can basically just, because it's a wash, it soaks into them, so you can just cut them to size basically, just keep cutting them down and then just try a few different variations. And I'm going to do a bit more of an experiment with that as well, a bit of a tree, and kind of gradually sort of start building that up and see if I can make my own trees, save a few quid with those. Some of the other stuff, some of it I've just put bits of the coffee in as well, just to give it a little bit of a additional colour and texture and darken it up a bit as well. Hello folks, welcome back. So scenic work's been well underway, and there's the embankment now. I've added some scatter materials to it as well, so they're just the guagemaster ones, but I don't know how well that will pick up in this light, but yeah, fairly pleased with that. I think it'll be good to see it in decent daylight as well, but generally it's a reasonable few different colours and types. I'm going to put more stuff on there, a bit more kind of foliage as well on there, and then there'll be bits of it where the ballast will be coming down a bit and look like a little bit of overspill at a couple of areas, and then perhaps try and tone down some of the colours. In reality they tend to be very overgrown, these embankments, don't they? So but I thought I'd just do that, just see really a bit of a test of how the scenics look really. But yeah, quite pleased with that. I've just painted the green with that green paint now, just to make a bit of a field area, and then also up the other side as well, and that should hopefully just give it that bit of texture from the coffee that's incorporated. Perhaps have a couple of horses in that field maybe, I don't know yet, but once it's dried I'll get the PVC the glue on it, and it should show some nice bit of contrast to the embankment. Hopefully that's the general plan, and then perhaps at the bottom of it have a you know, a fence or something at the bottom just to separate off the railway. So yeah, quite pleased with that for now. More to do on it next time, but yeah. Hello folks, welcome back. Paul here, UK Rails and More. So yeah, thought I'd just bring you back for a little bit of an update. Now the paint's dried and everything on this one, and things are secure, so just thought we'd have a little look. I've basically just put a few different types of scatter down there just for the time being, while I think of what's going to happen with that little area. I'm thinking possibly a farm track or something like that. The embankment, I'm going to try and, light's not the best because it's coming from over at the left, but I'll try and have a little look along this and see what we think. So yeah, it's using that sponge type material. I mean, I think in future maybe at some point use some static grass as well, but just for now I wanted to see what kind of effect I got from the material. So this is basically the sponge materials in the different shades that I got, and you can cut those down as finely as you want afterwards because it soaks through, and you do get a bit of colour variation with that. Just as a reference, those are the other guagemaster scatters I've been using as well, and then that's a light brown one. So yeah, coming back, so it gives you this kind of an effect. I've done some bits which are kind of the raised profile, and then there's some bits that are quite flat. And then I've just tried to use different combination of colours, as you seem to get on a lot of these embankments where you get different types of wild kind of growth growing, and then towards the end I've just built up the kind of the bracken type bushes, a bit more greenery at the end, and that's where it meets the viaduct itself. I just put a couple of logs down there for a bit of effect as well, just while I think of detail in this area, and then basically adding a bit of growth up the viaducts as well. And again, you can make that as fine as you want, so it can be like bushes, or as you get where it's quite overgrown, and then just little bits of greenery like potentially grass growing and stuff like that, and then just overhanging the other side of the embankment a bit as well, and then growing up the side as well. The road probably is a bit coarse, to be quite honest with you, for what I want, but I was reasonably pleased. There's the colour, it's actually darker than it looks on here. I think you're getting a bit of shade, so I'm potentially going to kind of sand that down a little bit and then just add a bit more paint and just get it exactly as I want. Up the sides here you've got that growth, and basically what I've done is I've just painted over the brown coffee material with that green paint. Now this green paint, it looks like a bit of a hideous colour as it comes across on film, but it's actually very similar to the guagemaster colour there in reality. It's just, I don't know whether it's just a shine, but it looks a lot better colour wise. It's a lot less shine from it than it comes across on the camera. But really I thought that's just for that texture. You get this nice kind of texture from it, from the coffee, which is just like you know, I don't know, something that's like partially grazed, but that's obviously, that's going to be a base, and then I'll apply different scatters to that. But I thought it makes quite a good base, as would that, the brownery as well. You get a bit of brownery underneath the different bushes and stuff. But I'm going to build that up and see how we get on. Quite a bit of work to do on it, but yeah, quite pleased. I'm going to work out what I'm going to do with this. Obviously I don't want just complete edges, but I thought maybe a bit of dirt track, as if you get a bit of cars parking there and stuff as well, and maybe some broken concrete as if there was something there previously. That there's going to be a tree obscuring that, or a couple of trees obscuring that aperture there, and then we're going to be using the red colour in here. So I've got some red brick coloured paints that I'm going to use in there. I think I'll probably get away with just using that and some weathering down it rather than actual individual brick paper and stuff like that. So yeah, that should be quite obscured, this, when that tree is done. And I'm going to have a go of making the tree myself and see how I get on with the different materials, and see what we think of that. But yeah, by all means, if you've got any comments on it, you know, good or bad, suggestions, that's always really useful, and I'm grateful for that. So it just helps guide us, give us an idea of what you think. I've had a look at some embankments on the internet, you know, on different YouTube videos, and I saw one the other day on a preservation railway. I'm not sure which one it was, but looking at the embankment, you did get a lot of variety. And I noticed, I don't know whether it's more a preservation railway thing or whether it's just the main line as well, but I noticed where they're doing the track cleaning and maintenance, you tend to just get a lot of the time a little bit of you know, just very plain grass on the top level. So I might trim down that growth a little bit on the top, and but I will have ballast going to the end of that in many cases as well. So yeah, general effect, I'm quite pleased with the field now. That well, obviously I've got to do all the different colourings on it, but as a base, I'm quite pleased with the shape of it. The contours, that just adds just a little bit of contour to it. Don't know how well it picks up there, but you've got little bits of hillocks or hills, and then just coming across down to the road, which is low and which is going up into the distance. And then we're going to have the trains going across the top from the higher level embankment, and then crossing the other line there. So yeah, I will carry on and bring you back in a bit. Bye for now. Well, I just think on the other thing I did as well is I wanted to darken the colour of this and weather it a little bit more, this viaduct. So I basically used some of the wash from some of the darker coloured paints I'd used for the road, and then just got that down to a reasonable level, and then tried to emphasise the darkness that you get underneath the overhangs, and then also around that area as well, where it just tends to be a little bit less exposed to the elements, so you get a lot more sort of dirt and mess on it. But I'm overall pleased with that, because I was thinking it was looking a bit light, the colour. As I say, that's going to be, you know, potentially in the future I could use this as an individual project to kind of really enhance. One of the things I was thinking is potentially the arches, make those a little bit narrow at some point, but we'll see. But yeah, I'll bring you back in a bit. Bye for now. Okay folks, so that's just a bit of neat PVA with a little bit of the wet brush basically from the green painting before, that's just been left to soak. I've just gone up the side of the embankment there in between the gaps. I'm going to add more shrubbery onto this as well in a bit, but yeah, just for now let's try and get some base colours on there. Okay folks, so just to keep you updated, I've just applied some of the different scatter materials up there now. Obviously the paints, or sorry, the PVC glue is still wet, so I've only applied a little bit, just with a view of building it up gradually, really, just doing a little bit, seeing how it looks, adjusting it, and obviously when that white glue's gone, it'll look a lot better hopefully, and then there's going to be more bits done on the top as well. But yeah, just trying to give a few different colours really, where you might have some of the lighter grass nearer the bottom, I'm probably going to put a bit more of that lighter grass on the top of there as well. And then this field, I want to use this, I want to make this lighter so that it contrasts with the embankment quite a bit, and then I'll add different things. I'm possibly thinking of this field maybe having a couple of horses in it, you know, where it's not going to be kept as trimmed down as if you had cattle in it, where it'd be trimmed down significantly more, but where you'll still have some shrubs and sort of wild grasses and possibly a tree as well. So yeah, and I'll adapt this area really as I think on what's best for it. Okay, I'll speak to you in a bit. Bye for now. Okay, so I just put the PVA glue just here, just have a little mixing area, and that'll be good for paint mixing as well. And then yeah, just applying it on, doing small areas at a time. And then the idea, of course, is that if there's any bits we miss, then you just get that bit of texture underneath it anyway. So, and you get that nice colour. So yeah, we'll carry on with that. Hello folks, welcome back. So yeah, I'll just take you through what I've been doing. I've just been using these scatters, and I've used a bit of a method really with doing these scatters, where I'm sort of using the darker colours to represent kind of longer grass and kind of more kind of lush grass, and then towards the edges, peripheries, I've got the lighter colours, and I've done the same kind of thing here as well. So I wanted this field to generally contrast with the embankment. So even though there's no fence there or anything at the moment, you can still see that there's quite a contrast as you get in terms of the texture of the actual embankment itself, where it's much more overgrown and sort of low level shrubs and things, but then the field, which is kept a little bit more sort of shorter through the horses and what have you. With the field, I've wanted to go for a bit of a lighter colour. Obviously when it dries out it'll be different, but I wanted to use sort of the little dips and troughs in the field where you perhaps get water pooling. So I've used the darker colours in those areas, with even a little bit of the brown to represent potentially some kind of muddy area where animals are feeding at lower level puddles and things like that. And then at the higher level you've got the green. So obviously that'll look better when it's dried out, but I'm just going to continue that kind of method and see how it looks. So there's a bit of method to it really. On the top there's probably going to be some trees around that area, but I don't want the trees to obscure the actual viaduct itself too much, so maybe kind of low level trees and bushes in an area, and then below them as well you're probably more likely to get a combination of either a bit of brown where there's leaf matter and things like that, and also sort of probably darker coloured grasses that can live more in the shade, where you've not got the sun scorching them because of the natural shade you get. So it'll be more of a generally darker theme underneath the trees and bushes area on that bit of ground as well. So yeah, I'll carry on and see how we get on. But yeah, I'm pleased with that. We're starting to get that look of the embankment now, with the landscape running down with the different colours to what will be the bridge going underneath there. And then towards there, obviously that needs a lot of work, but just around the edges where you get less kind of foot flow, then you've got more green and shrubs and things like that. But these will just be the base for additional kind of more coarse shrubs, and potentially a bit of static grass, but I'm going to see how I get on without it first of all and see what the general effect is. Okay, bye for now. Hello folks, welcome back. So yes, done a fair bit of scenic work here. I'll just show you this angle just to because I think it quite well emphasises the embankment now and how the embankment sort of come to life, the shape of it and the contrast between the generally lighter coloured grass at the bottom with the highlighted darker coloured lowland areas where you get more water. And then you can really see the texture of the embankment now as well. Another add-on I did was at the top, I've used some of the much lighter scatter material on the top with little bits where you may have had a little bit of erosion, just to give that effect where there's less shade on the very top level. So on the edge of the embankment like that, you'll get a lot of lighter green grass, it'll just be growing along the edge, but I've used some darker grass in places as well, just to add a bit of contrast, so we've not just got a big line of green grass. But as you see it coming down there, that just kind of gives a nice bit of contrast and marcation from the top of the embankment to the bottom. Now at the bottom there's going to be some kind of hedgerow or fence there potentially, with the view that it could just be some kind of wooden fence really, something, you know, if that's private land, this little bit. On the top, I think once the ballast is done, the raised ballasting on the cork beds, and that ballast just comes, it'll just take the edge of that contrast off the brighter grass there. But yeah, quite pleased with the, in fact actually that's quite a decent shot because we're getting a nice bit of light coming into it now, so you can see the contrast with how dark it is there. So just looking along at some of the, I'm quite pleased with these materials. I think they've done quite well. I think adding a bit more in time and experimenting with some different methods as well will add to the effect as well. So yeah, there's the weathered bridge or viaduct, and then just going over onto the other side. Obviously that'll look a lot better once the glue is dried clear. But yeah, that's general effect I'm looking for on that, with the different bushes going up the sides. This area, I've just brought that in a little bit, so it's merged in a little bit. There's more work to be done here, working out exactly what it is, but I thought it could be just a little off-road parking area where people either park up to go for walks, or, you know, I don't know, just a little off-road section. Maybe it's a little bit of an access where maintenance engineers can come and inspect the viaducts and things like that. And then on the end, just using the grass technique, as I say, around the edges where you'd expect it to be shorter grass, I've just used a lighter coloured scatter and then a little bit of the darker colour, remembering that the base colour when that glue dries is going to be the darker green in any case. So it was just really to give a bit of definition for the edges. Yeah, and again the same over here, just looking at trying to give that little bit of extra definition, possibly have a tree there or some slightly thicker bushes. And then here, probably some kind of either a grass banking going down or a retaining wall, and possibly a pavement on that side. I don't know that there would be room for that to go, a small pavement to go through the viaduct as well. So we'll see about that. Possibly some log cutting or something here, maybe some little building of some description. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, that should give a good idea of that embankment as well. So you can just see how the embankment's very much overgrown. And then in this area as well, if you can just get the light, I've just used a few of the different scatter materials there. I'll possibly have some puddles there where water's been pooling, you know, in the middle, and just use maybe some varnish would work to good effect there. Or even some PVA where it's just glued or dried shiny. But yeah, that's where we're up to. So quite a bit of progress, I think, with that one. But yeah, I'll leave it there for now with this one, and then bring you back for another very soon. So thanks for following, watching, commenting, and subscribing. It's really appreciated. Good luck with your own layouts, and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye for now.